In business for a very long time, dealing with the fallout of this?
Well, fortunately, we're very busy all the time. And to be quite honest with you, we've been dealing with these offences on smart motorways for several years, but it's been kept under the radar. So this is nothing new. And I think you will be aware that the technology on smart motorways has been called into question on numerous occasions, tragically with fatal accidents when lanes haven't been closed quickly or when the technology hasn't caught up. So there have been huge problems. And this is another illustration of the problems of our smart motorways that really aren't as smart as they're intended to be.
Well, it's going to affect people in different ways, isn't it? I mean, if somebody, for example, has a clean licence and they were wrongly convicted of speeding, they get 3 points, they got a fine, they'll get the points knocked off, they'll get the money back from the fine and they'll carry on as per. But what we were saying yesterday and today, what about somebody who's already got 9 points on their licence? They're wrongly given 3 points. They weren't speeding, but they were found guilty, as it were, and they coughed to it. They got the fine and they lost their jobs because driving was an important component of their employment. Their claim for compensation could be massive if they've lost career prospects, if they've lost income.
Yeah, Richard, you're absolutely right. I mean, every case you talk about will be dealt with on its own merits. I mean, even the first simple scenario when someone gets 3 points, those 3 points will result in an enhanced insurance premium. So there's compensation there. There's also compensation for the fact of the stress of being involved, maybe for the first time in their life with an offence. You might have somebody who's sort of slightly elderly, who drives really carefully, who's been driving for 60 years, never had an offence. All of a sudden, they're falsely accused of an offence. You can imagine the sort of stress and anxiety that that person would experience. So the point is, every case falls on its own merits. And tragically, you will have people, as you pointed out, who have already 9 points on their licence. They then get falsely convicted of another offence. They've been unsuccessful in arguing exceptional hardship. They lose their licence for 6 months, and sometimes with that, they may lose their job. They may be unable to make their mortgage repayments. The consequences can be absolutely catastrophic, and even worse than that. You know, there may be cases, and I don't wish to sort of exaggerate this, but there are unquestionably people who suffer such depression and such anxiety that they may actually take their lives in their own hands. So every case has to be looked at in particular. It isn't a simple situation. It's going to cost millions and millions and millions of pounds to rectify, and it's going to destroy yet again the public's trust and faith in this technology on smart motorways. You know, you've heard that in the pre-record you've just done. Most motorists feel that these cameras are there to raise revenue. They have nothing to do with safety. And I think all sensible motorists would agree. You know, if you have a camera in a black spot, absolutely. You enforce speed limits outside schools and things, absolutely. And I'm not against speed enforcement, but when you have motorways all the way along our roads, so people are completely obsessed with looking at their speedometer, their spatial awareness evaporates because they're so preoccupied with, am I exceeding the speed limit? Because I know it's being monitored all the time. So I think the whole situation needs to be looked at afresh, and we need a new approach which actually has public safety, road safety at the top of the agenda, as opposed to using the motorist as a cash cow.
Nick, can I ask about this specific scandal with these variable speed cameras? Motorists are being told that they will be contacted if they have fallen foul of this particular fault in the software update. Do you think that's reasonable? We know police are under pressure to deal with crime, frankly. So can we rely on police speedily getting in touch with drivers? Or do you think drivers can in some way sort of apply at this stage to find out if they believe that they've been wrongly convicted of one of these speeding offences?
Well, I welcome the alleged pro-action that we're hearing from the prosecuting authorities, but for the drivers, I would certainly say do not rely on being contacted. You may be and you may not be. The cameras concerned are simply the HAD-X3. It relates to smart motorways only and the A14. That's all we're concerned with at the moment. This has been going on for almost 6 years. So anybody who has had a speeding offence for the past 6 years needs to look at the offence that they've committed. And if they're in any doubt at all about it, and it won't be a 70-mile-an-hour offence, that's extremely unlikely. But I would say anybody who's been convicted, it relates to 154 cameras. if have a look at the camera. If you're at all suspicious, contact a lawyer and ask the lawyer simply to say, look, is this something that I need to be contacting the authorities about, or should I sit and wait?
And finally, and very briefly, Nick, because we're out of time, what do you think about the point that was made to us in our interviews yesterday from people out there, that there perhaps should be a differential established about speeding at, say, the 20-mile-an-hour limit? That, OK, it's one thing to be fined and given points if you do 24, 25 on a busy 12 o'clock moment, but at 3 in the morning with no other traffic on the road, shouldn't there be some element of a differential?
There is a tolerance zone, Richard, and it's 10% plus 1. So people are prosecuted at 10% plus 2.
Right.
And that applies to speed limits everywhere. It should do. There's one other point I'd just like to make your listeners aware of. If you get a notice now, a speeding ticket, please don't ignore it. Don't just assume it's going to go away. Don't refuse to fill it in. It's unlikely you're going to get one because the cameras have actually been switched off on these roads for now since the 17th of October. But get advice. Don't just ignore it because you run the risk of being convicted of failing to furnish, which carries 6 points.
All right.
Good advice.
Good advice. Nick, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be talking about this again before very long.